back on my channel. My name is Theodora and I'm a Nigerian immigrant living in Calgary, Alberta. Joining us on this channel today is a very special person, my husband. I'll allow him to introduce himself. Guys, just like the title says, we're just going to be talking about why we decided to relocate to Canada and our PR story, what the story was like from the time we decided to relocate until we arrived in Canada. Yes, so babe, can you introduce yourself to my subscribers?
My name is Demola, and I'm here.
Okay, so guys, why did we decide to relocate to Canada? Babe, why did we decide to relocate to Canada? We're going to do this individually, okay? So he's going to say his own reason. I'm going to say my own reason. I already know what his reason is, and I think it's kind of like the same with mine. But I'll just give him an opportunity to be able to air his own point of view. So it's not be as if I'm just putting my own reason on top of his head, you know. But the reason why I myself personally decided or agreed with the idea of relocating was predominantly because of our kids, guys. Because of the children, number one reason. Number two reason, okay, let me go more into number one reason. I've always had this idea that I wanted my kids to school outside the country, outside of Nigeria, to school abroad, in a place where they would have world-class education that can match up with any country in the world, okay? And working as a healthcare worker in Nigeria just didn't cut it for me, because I don't think that if we had put both our incomes together, we would have successfully been able to train both our children, all our children, the three of them, outside the country. It didn't seem feasible. It didn't seem possible. It didn't seem like it was something that would happen, and it's not like we are in our 20s. It didn't seem possible. It looked like it was something that if we procrastinated, we were going to be jeopardizing our children's future. We decided on relocating for our children's education because it was just one way to kill two birds with one stone. One, give them an opportunity of a permanent residence that they can decide to come back to later in their lives and live or school and work if they choose, and also give them an opportunity to education, world-class education. That's not number one reason. Number two reason, I was getting tired of the way that healthcare workers were being treated back home in my country. We are not appreciated. We are not valued. We do so much work for so little pay. I'm sure the health workers are watching me now. They know what I'm talking about, at least if you've worked in Nigeria. You do so much work with so little pay. Yes, you have the opportunity to be able to work in your country without having to prove so much of yourself, unlike coming here and having to start from the ground up. But at least here, for every little hour that you work, right? For every little 1 hour, 2 hours that you work, you see your pay. You can see what you've earned. You can see what you have worked your money with. In Nigeria, I really didn't know what I was doing, to be honest. Okay, so those are my two reasons why I decided to agree with the idea of relocation. Babe, what was your reason?
Well, I think mine will be basically the cost of living in Lagos. Okay. So the cost of living was high, and I could foresee that the coming years it will be more expensive to sustain the kind of lifestyle you want. Yeah. So basically, I think what really did it in for me was when I went to visit a friend of mine in America, and I saw the way he was living. He could plan. He could plan his trips to other countries. You could plan so many things because of this way the system worked there. So when I got back, I decided to just jump into the pool because I've written my IELTS then. So I just decided to jump into the pool, and I said, man, I'm going to do this thing now.
So we had actually started talking about relocation before you even went to go and see this friend, but we were not. Yeah, it wasn't like it wasn't like it was a plan.
It wasn't a priority. Yeah, it wasn't a priority then. Yeah. So it was when I spent some time with him and I saw the way, everything was working for him, the way he could plan his life. So, Nigeria, basically Lagos, you can't predict how the day will end or how the day will start. The day tells you how it would treat you. So you just go along with the flow. So you might decide to do 4 or 5 things today in Lagos and you end up doing 2 because maybe there's traffic or maybe there's a commotion somewhere, But I could say he could plan. He was working in America and he had his own business in Lagos also. So basically, I think the cost of living was a priority for me.
Was that the only reason why?
Yeah, then I think the kids also, because the reason why the cost of living was a priority, because I was factoring my kids into the whole situation and stuff.
School fees was on the high, house rent was on the high, everything was, like, it's really very difficult to live in Lagos now. And I remember a friend of ours came to visit one time from South Africa. All he kept remarking about was, how do you guys survive here? Salaries are so low, they are so minimum, and cost of living is so high, housing is so high, school fees is so high, food is so high, and then you have to have maids and nannies and people to help you. You have to have a car and all of that. You have to service your car and everything. How do you guys survive? I was just staring at him, and that was just the honest truth. Because living here now, it's not like my job is like high, you know. It's not like a very high paying job. It's just like a basic minimum job. We're still getting there. But I know what I earn, and I know what I can do with my money. I know the possibilities of what I can do with the little that I have, as little as it is. There's free education, there's free healthcare, there's so many other benefits that you can get from the system, okay? In Nigeria, there's no free anything. You're paying as you're going.
We're buying water now from the water vendors, from a tanker.
We're buying water, guys. Where we're staying in Lekki then, we're buying water. Everything we're paying for, like, you have to pay for everything. And if you, to be honest, if you sit down in Lagos and you calculate your cost of living in a month and look at your salary,
it's more than...
It is not tallying up. You are living way above how much you are earning, right? Yeah. So that's basically it. Anyway, hope we've answered that question, because I know a lot of people wanted to know why we decided to relocate, the reasons that, you know, pushed us to take this decision for ourselves and our family. We're going to go now into our PR story. So when did we start? When did we decide to migrate? We decided when?
2019.
Was it 2019? No, 2017. It was just before I had Eliana. Okay. It was like a few months before I had Eliana that we talked about it. It wasn't like, and even then, we talked about it, but it wasn't like it was written in stone. We were just like, I remember my husband just came, because he was the one who brought up the idea. He just came to me and he was like, have you ever thought about leaving Nigeria? And you know, the stories we used to hear then, or the story I used to hear then, was about how you will suffer like this, no nanny, no nothing, no this. And I was just thinking about my life. So when he said it, I wasn't very agreeable. I was like, go where? Live where? Outside where? Please, if you want to go, me, I'm here. You know, that kind of response. But I think I started warming up towards it when, towards the December period of 2017, I started warming up towards the idea. We later made the decision in January to write our IELTS, and
that was 2018.
Yes, in 2018 we started making the decision. After we had talked about it in 2017, we started making the decision to write our IELTS in 2018. By then I was already pregnant with Eliana, and I remember that when I even wrote IELTS, I was like 4 months pregnant with Eliana. Either 4 months or about 4 months pregnant with Eliana or something. It was such a chaotic exam for me. You know how as a pregnant woman you always have to use the bathroom and all of that. That exam, you cannot move. For every time you take like this, is inside the time of your exam. So if you want to go to the toilet, it's your problem. I remember that day I didn't drink water from the minute I woke up that morning. I couldn't drink water because I just wanted to be seated at that place, write my exam and everything. You wrote IELTS after me, right? I wrote before you.
Yes.
Yeah. I wrote before my husband, and then my husband wrote after me. It wasn't a smooth sail journey, because I know that a lot of people are usually very afraid of the IELTS exam.
Well, I don't think they are afraid. They take it for granted that it's an English test.
Without preparing much for it.
Yes, so you think it's an English test, but it's something that there's a system to it on how to answer the questions. There's a way you need to respond when you're doing the speaking part. There's a way you need to, put in your words when you're the writing part of the IELTS exams. So it's not, the first test I did, to me, I was thinking, is it not English? So when I saw my result, I was like, wow. So I had to take it again, and I did better.
He did the exam twice. By the time he had finished writing his own, I think I was already like whether 6 months or 7 months pregnant. And he was saying I should go write the exam again. I was like, write which exam again? I'm not going to. So my husband wrote it twice anyway. And he did so much better than the first time. The first time I had my score, I wrote it just once, and I had a 7.5. And my husband wrote his the first time. What did you have? I think you had like 8?
No, I think the writing I had like maybe 6.
No, just the general score.
Oh, general score. General score was 7.
Yes, I think he had a 7.
But the second part, well, I had 9.
Yes, he had a 9. So that what really boosted our scores. My husband was the principal applicant for application because he had a master's degree. He's a master's degree holder from the University of Birmingham, UK. So it just made more sense. Basically, the principal applicant has to be the one who has the highest chance.
Basically, has more matrix, maybe second degree ties to the country, because my other sister in Canada.
So we have a sister here. He has a sister here. So we just claimed ties. That made it easier for us
to get more points in the pool.
To get more points, okay? It doesn't mean that because you have a sister here, you will just get your permanent residence. So it just shows that you have more ties and can give you extra points, okay? How much extra points did he give us?
It wasn't a lot, but you know, it helps. Either 10 or 15, I can't remember. But I know the second degree, the sibling, and number of years work experience helped in boosting the score.
So after we wrote IELTS in 2018, what we were doing the whole of that period was just trying to get our credentials sorted out, okay? And that is such a big deal. You know, Wes took so much time. My school took so much time. I don't think my husband's school took that long, but my school took so much time. And then by the time we were able to now send everything to Wes to have it evaluated, I think I had already even given birth at that point, right? Yeah. So we actually opened our profile in 2019.
Yeah, that was March. March 2019.
March 2019. That was when we so you see, it's a process. We started talking about this thing actively in 2017. We hadn't made up our minds. By 2018, we had decided, and even before we even opened the profile, we had to start putting our credentials together, and that took us almost a year, okay? And don't forget, like I said, I was pregnant. Putting our credentials together, doing IELTS and all of that. And then finally in 2019, we were able to upload our documents, and we had our IELTS results, so we're able to just get into the pool and everything. But so what happened after we got into the pool?
I think I think the first thing that happened was I kept on checking every day, waiting for something.
Waiting for the hand of God.
Because the draws were coming and the scores were high.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking that maybe something will happen. Then later on I gave up and I just thought about it that maybe I should stop checking and logging into my profile.
Yeah, that can
be one
like
night.
pressured.
Yeah, one night. I think that was in August or September. I can't remember. So she asked me that.
Was it December?
No, it was the nomination came in I think September or August.
Okay.
So she asked me that how far with this pool now?
I remember we were at home. Let me just describe the scenario. We were at home. I think we were watching match or something. But I know we were watching TV. And then I had to go and iron. There was no light. The generator was all burning and making noise like this in the background. Then out of nowhere, I was just like, babe, have you checked our profile recently? Like, when was the last time you checked? And he said he had just checked. You said you had just checked either that morning. No, either the day before or 2 days before or something like that. And I was like, have you checked today? And he was like, that he's not checking, that he has checked, that there's nothing there. I was like, just check. There might be, just check. And then he just brought out his phone. I remember he had to actually go by the window to go and hang or something. That our house then, now there was no network. I remember he had to go and stand by the door. Either he went to stand by the door, he went outside for your phone to be able to load the express entry page. The next thing I saw my husband running inside, babe. They've given us nomination. I mean, they had given us a request.
Nomination. We were nominated by the province of Alberta.
Yeah, so we had received our provincial nomination. We received our provincial nomination that year, 2019, when we actually opened our profile, like much later towards the end of the year. Say we opened it in March, we got our nomination maybe like September or November, thereabouts.
September. So the whole process to add, documentation application for the provincial nomination.
Yes, they asked for some things from us.
So I think I submitted everything by December. So we're given an ITA, I think January, The ITA came in January.
Yeah, so we got an invitation to apply. So after we had submitted our documentation and everything for the provincial nomination, we now got an invitation to apply in the next year, 2020. January, yes.
So then that required the medicals, the pictures.
I think that was the very first time we now went for medicals.
Biometrics.
Yes, we did all that
uploading of your documents again and things like that.
And you know, the way it was that 2020, people were getting their PPR in like 6 months, 3 months after
ITA. After ITA, it was fast.
ITA. Like immediately you get your invitation to apply, you get your PPR in like say 6 months or 3 months, but something happened that
COVID.
Guys, we got the invitation to apply January. We quickly did our biometrics and everything in February.
We even paid it was $2,700. Then it was so good then that I didn't need to use a special account
fee.
So I even used my GTB Bank Naira MasterCard. Then the limit wasn't restricted.
There wasn't any restriction on the limits that you could actually use.
So I just swiped the card and paid online.
And that was to pay for our application for the invitation to apply,
And then I remember
how much was it? $2,700.
People were advising that you shouldn't pay. I think maybe you should pay a certain amount. That by the time you need to pay the full the balance, that's what you will know they are working on your application. But luckily for me, I just decided.
We just decided.
Let me just pay
because was available. We're like, let's just pay at once.
Because later on there was restriction. There was restriction. The amount increased.
Yes, the amount increased. So we were very lucky then that we actually
the exchange rate went up.
Yes, it went up. From that point on, things were just going. You know what happened during COVID? From that point on, things were just going like up, down, up, down. I don't want to say down, down, but it was just going up, down, up, down. The Naira was good. The Naira exchange rate to dollar was going skyrocketing. COVID hit. There was no going out. Lockdown. I experienced being not working full hours. I think you didn't even work at all now. There was no work. So, you're not working. There's no pay. So it was just a different thing that 2020. And I had already started estimating that, okay, initially when COVID happened, we were like, okay, something that would just be maybe a month or 2, 3 months, 4 months. We were on this COVID journey for 2 years. IRCC was getting back to us at some point, but it was very slow.
But the painful part was that, I think 2021, they requested for medicals again. We did medicals.
Guys,
2022,
medicals
they requested
3 times. So just so you know, in case you are watching, someone who is watching, I think IRCC wait times might be slightly better than what we experienced. Our whole PR process took us like 3 years to be able to be done with it. We did medicals 3 times, and for every time we did medicals, we're spending an average of at least $200,000 Naira every time we had to do medical. Every time we had to do these medicals, we were paying at least an average of over 200K. Because we're a family of 5. So it wasn't really an easy process. Plus I think I used to live on a Canada visa. What's that forum I used to live there. People, they come to me and they ask me questions. I get a lot of DMs asking me about the process and all of that. I'm going to do a separate video about how you can actually apply for your permanent residence and the steps that you have to take to apply. But most of the information is out there. If you want to go on this journey, you have to be ready to do research. Trust me, anything that you're going through has already been experienced by somebody. I don't think there's really anything that you go through that has not been experienced by one person or the other. There are different things that can happen, like your visa, your PPR can come for just you and not the remaining members of your family. There are different processes and different things that can happen, and each of these might have been experienced by someone who will document it online. So you have to be ready to do research. You must be ready to do research. I was doing a lot of research that time. I used to live on Canada visa. I think at one point I even opened it and bookmarked it on my computer page, because at that point I didn't even care whether my office people knew whether I was relocating or I was not relocating. I didn't care. But when I come in the morning, guess what I wanted to see? The only thing I wanted to see was that people have started receiving PPR, okay? And for a very long time, people were not getting PPR. In fact, when you see the wait times then, people as far back as, people that had applied as far back as 2016, 2017, had still not gotten their PPR. And how much more we that applied in 2020?
Yeah, people that had AOR from 2019, 2018.
Yeah. So, it was really, really so stressful then and all of that. But we'll fast forward through all the whole waiting process. But let's just say throughout 2020, 2021, we did not hear anything. We're hearing from IRCC.
Okay, I think, 2020 December, that's when they moved our file to Hong Kong.
There was a time they now moved our file.
They now told us to do medicals. So we're hoping that, okay.
Yeah, after doing
at least they're working on our file.
We did that medicals expired though. They sent us to do another medicals in 2021, So 2020, 2021, IRCC was contacting us. They were, reaching out to us for different things, asking us to fill several schedule forms, asking us to upload different documentations, asking us to do medicals, asking us for different things, okay?
The only thing they didn't ask was updated proof of funds.
Yes, they did ask us
I don't know, maybe we've had it since in the fixed since 2019.
For like 3 years, how that body will take this, they tell you. It's so stressful. Like you're looking at your money, your account,
you can't spend it.
And you can't spend it. Like, and that proof of funds has to be there from the time that you apply. So we applied from 20. We were seeing people that they were asking. There were some people that were asking for proof of funds, updated ones. Yes, they were asking for updated, but they didn't ask us.
Yeah.
They didn't ask us for updated proof of funds.
The only time they were.
I think they did. No, they did. They asked us for updated just once.
That was in 20.
Once, I think in 2020.
Yeah.
They asked us for updated proof of funds after we did the initial application. Yes, they did. But after that 2020, they didn't ask us again until we got our PPR. And then we started asking for, what's that thing that you ask when you want to see how your application is
GCMS note.
Hey, the last GCMS note that we asked for, they didn't send it to after we finished paying. How many times did we even apply for GSMS notes?
I think twice. Yeah, twice.
So GSMS notes are just like a way of knowing what is going on with your application. If you're not hearing from IRCC and you have no idea what's going on with your application, you're confused, you're just there, you don't know whether it's moving forward, you don't know. Sometimes it's so weird that you can actually see people that applied after you, that have a shorter AOR than you, have gotten PPR, and you are still there. Yes, now. And it can be so confusing because you just be like, but I applied before this person. How come this person is getting PPR before me? Sometimes you have no idea about how IRCC does this whole process. You just have to be patient. It's really a journey that taught us patience. You have to be patient. You have absolutely no way of pushing or not pushing. You just have to stay the course and be prepared. So keep saying during that period.
I wasn't thinking about it.
You stop thinking about it. You just remove your mind.
Just live my life in Lagos.
But every now and then, try to enter your mind.
Because I knew it was a journey that would come to a conclusion that I would. But the only thing was that, I didn't know when it would. But I knew at some point.
Were there periods where you were going through depression?
Well, maybe the depression was from living the lifestyle in Lagos and the financial burden.
Yeah.
You have money in the bank, you can't touch, and you have to look for alternatives because we had stories of people saying that they asked them for updated proof of funds.
No,
and
there was an issue. People were putting it up that they asked them for updated.
Then IRCC was contacting the banks to request directly to verify. So you can't just put in a bank statement and they will verify and the money would have gone down by half. So
that was stressful, knowing that you had money and you couldn't touch.
Yes.
Me, it was stressful for me knowing that I was working a job that I had emotionally left a long time ago. I was working a job that I had blanked out from. I didn't want to be there anymore. I was living in a country that I had more or less removed my mind. Plenty things were quite frustrating for me, we didn't envisage that it was going to take that long. It was kind of long for us. We did not envisage that it was going to take that long. For every step and every time the IRCC contacted us to do a medical, a medical request or a medical exam, we just approximated that in the next 3 months we were leaving. And sometimes it was so devastating that after that medical medical exam in the next 7 months, if you have not even heard anything from them. You filed for GSMS note, you have not even seen the GSMS note. I think before we even got our PPR self, we had sent GSMS note. Till we left, even after they sent that PPR, we didn't see that GSMS note. I think our officer would have just looked at it, look at these ones that we have sent PPR, they are doing GSMS note. Anyway, let's fast forward to when we now got our PPR. When did we get our PPR?
January 2022.
February.
We did
2nd of February.
We did medicals in January.
They sent us for a medical request
in January.
Yes, in Jan. No.
It was January.
They sent us PPR and medical request same time.
Oh yes.
They sent us our medical request and our PPR same day, same time, and it was February 2nd.
And we had 30 days.
And we had just 30 days. So we quickly, how did we do it? We quickly booked. That booking itself is another thing. So
there was a wait list.
You even do medicals in Nigeria. There is a wait list. You will even call them, they'll tell you there's no space, you know. Luckily for me, I was a former staff of Q Life Medical Clinic. I worked there at some point. I worked there in 2014. I worked there in 2013. I worked there 2013, 2014. I left there in 2015. Okay, this is like several years before we even decided to do Canada stuff. And yes, I used to do medicals and chest x-rays for people that were doing Canada and all of that. I used to do it and upload it onto IRCC's website without even knowing that one day I'm going to do my own, you know. So then when we had medicals, I would just, you know, try to relate with my former staff, try to see if we can get a booking. Even me that they know self, it was difficult because they would be like, you don't have space. Then they would probably give us some dates and tell you, okay, would you choose from here or would you choose from there, you know. And sometimes those dates did not even go with the deadline that they had given us. In this case, I think they gave us deadline of, they gave us 30th. Q Life gave us like whether 24th or something. It was like several days, like we just had like maybe 3 or 4 days or 5 days or maybe a week till the deadline for IRCC this time around. So we had to quickly rush, do our medicals. The same way we did the same day we did our medicals, that was the same day we sent our passports.
Yeah.
And I think the reason they sent us medicals and PPR at the same time was because this thing had stayed for too long.
Yeah, I think then IRCC just came alive with the new immigration minister.
They were trying to clear the backlog. So because I'd never heard of people being sent medicals and PPR at the same time. But we're one of those people, I don't know, there might be some people watching here who have had that situation. But in our case, because our medicals had expired, and knowing that if we went to go and do another medicals, it would take us too much time, they decided to send us our medicals and our PPR at the same time with an instruction to make sure that we send our our passports within that 30 days of the medicals. So we did our medicals on the 27th or so, and we sent our passports that exact day. We sent it to Accra. We sent it through Accra. And how long did it take before our passports came back? It took us about 5 weeks. Yes, about 5 weeks.
Was it 5 weeks?
Okay. It took about 5 weeks, about 4-5 weeks, our passports to come back from Accra. And in that period, we were just trying to get ready. How did you feel that period? Did you feel pressured? Did you feel sad?
No, I think it was more like
uncertain,
mixed feelings.
Yeah. So we all had. I had mixed feelings. I have a video about that actually. I had mixed feelings about leaving Nigeria and the journey that awaited us, settling in a new country, how it was going to be. At the same time, being excited, you know, to leave and start a new life, but at the same time, being a little bit concerned about how the process and the journey was going to be like. So we sent our passports. Passports came back. There was a lot to do, a lot of shopping in between and all of that. Bought our tickets and then we left, right? And we are here in Calgary. All right, so I'm just going to be talking about how much we spent and just an idea of how much we must have spent during our PR journey. So it's not going to be in any particular order, please. So just I think you do better doing this. Please, because it was you that was doing most of the spending. So just let's see. So application fee, right?
That's the transmission fee. For
how
the ITA. Then it was 2,700 American dollars. Then IELTS then was 75,000 there. So between both of us, we did it 3 times.
So
then West So West, was it how much per individual?
I think I spent like almost $100 and something for my own application. I only have one document. I only had my BSc for them to assess for me. You had your master's and your BSc, so I think that would have cost more. Yours would have cost more.
Well, I can't remember how much it was, but I know for transcript from my school, Lagos was 25K. For the master's degree was maybe £15. I can't remember, but that was faster. I think they sent it to West in 2 days.
That's from your master's,
yeah,
right?
2 or 3 days it was sent to West.
Can imagine. If I tell you how
the other one, I had to be going to.
If I tell you how long it took my school to give me transcript, to give me my degree certificate, I didn't have my degree certificate. It took me more than 6 months. So it took me almost a year. And at the end of the day, I had to have somebody inside that was able to help me, just facilitate things. But I think I spent in total for that whole process to get my transcript, have it DHL to me back in Lagos, back and forth, get my transcript, get my degree certificate. I think it took me like almost 100K for that whole process. Yeah. And then I had to also do like an equivalent of $100. I raised what do they call that thing that you have to raise in the bank draft. I raised the bank draft to $100, to the tune of $100, and I had to send it to my school via DHL. That was still part. When West sends your school the notification to prove if your documentation is actually legit, your school has to write back. So my school charges the student about $100 to be able to write a paper review or to write a paper something to West stating that your documentations are legit, that you went through the right process in school, and that your degree certificate is genuine, something like that. But we're asked to pay. This is minus the money you have to pay for registrar to do your degree certificate and all of that. So this one is for them to actually respond to West saying that your degrees are okay and all of that. And I had to do that by sending a bank draft of $100, the equivalent of $100 to my school. Okay. Then what else? Biometrics. How much did we pay?
Yeah, well, the good thing about that was that it was once. So that was
biometrics. Yeah. I can't. Do people do biometrics more than once?
Yeah. What I'm saying is that there was no addition to the family, or maybe there was somebody that was included.
Yes. We did everything once, and the children didn't need to do biometrics. Yeah. Biometrics was about $170. Yeah. Then the transmission fee after obtaining PPR to Accra was about $150. Yes. Yeah. Then, of course, flight fare and all of that. Flight fare is a lot more expensive now. Then, when we were sending our nomination, when we were sending our documentations and all of that to Alberta to accept the nomination from the province of Alberta, we paid 15,000 naira.
Yeah, through UPS.
Yes, to UPS for that. So just try and do the math. I'm not going to calculate how much in total we spent, because even with this amount that I'm giving you, all the run around and all the everything to just make it a seamless process definitely cost more than this. And I'm sure there might be even some things that we've forgotten.
Omitted, yeah.
Yes. So, but just do the maths. It's actually a very expensive journey, but it's a journey that's worth it, I believe. So that's our PR story. If you have any questions for us, please don't forget to, leave it in the comment section. If you have any questions for my husband, if you have any questions for me, don't worry. I'll make sure he's reading the comments and he'll respond through me. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to share it to people that you know might be interested in watching. Don't forget to like it. Don't forget to share. And don't forget to subscribe. Until my next video, thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.